Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jasmine Warren and I'm coming at you today with a bit of a tough love video. As you've already seen from the title, this video is the 5 reasons why you weren't able to get what you wanted this past year. It's kind of interesting and funny to see different memes on Instagram because some memes say things like, oh, what did you do for 2018? And the punchline is survived. Other memes say, 2018 was the best year ever and 2019 will be even more wonderful. 2018 was one of the best years of my life, but it's because I changed a ton of things such as my values, even my city, character traits that I developed and changed over time that have led me. I can just cut all this. You don't really have to,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not gonna cut it. There were all these character traits that I had in the past that caused me to not be able to move forward. This will be very helpful if you find that you're kind of stuck in a rut and year after year kind of looks the same and you're not really sure what you're doing wrong. Stick around and I will tell you what you're doing wrong. If this past year has looked exactly like last year and the year before that, one thing that may be keeping you in a place where you don't want to be or keeping you from progress is that you're too afraid of failure. If you've ever read an inspirational book or read the story of Oprah or anybody that's really famous now, they often talk about how it's important to fail and how failure isn't the end of the world. But for most of us, failure in our mind is like some catastrophic event that would be very difficult to come back from, and it's a lot easier to maintain the status quo even if you are kind of unhappy than it is to take a risk, fail, and start over. At the end of the day, the best thing that failure does for you is it teaches you what doesn't work, and it also teaches you that you can come back from failure and you're gonna be okay. A lot of people who are famous or wealthy or really admired now failed multiple times at what they were trying to do until they were able to succeed. I think that's something that we should all be taught, that it's okay to fail. Failure is part of the journey on the road to success. If you're not taking any risks where failure is one of the outcomes, then you're not really living a life that is moving you forward. Another thing that often keeps us from living the lives of our dreams is that something bad happens to us and then we spend too much time feeling sorry for ourselves. With Law of Attraction, I used to be really into Abraham Hicks, and they get like almost a little cultish to me sometimes, but they do have, as a group or whatever they are, they do have some sound advice, and they, what is the woman's name? Esther calls conflicts in our life contrast. And basically the idea is that conflicts occur in our life to show us what we really don't want so we can redirect our mind in the direction of what we do want. But a lot of the times something bad will happen and we'll dwell on the bad thing instead of thinking like, okay, hey, that's not what I want in my life, so let me move on to something else. I use myself as an example. I've lived through times of being quite broke. And I remember I was living in Atlanta for a short while, and I remember I was always like talking about how broke I was and, oh, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that, I'm barely getting by. And at the time, one of my friends said to me, like, you need to stop talking about how you're broke all the time. Like, you need to just stop dwelling on the fact that you don't have like a lot of money. And I will say that it's very difficult to be broke and then for someone to say to you, well, oh, don't focus on being broke. Well, I don't want to be focused on being broke, but these bill collectors make me focus on being broke, and my bank account with its low balance makes me focus on being broke. But what he said was true, that I spent all this time feeling sorry for myself when what I could have been doing, and like obviously eventually did do, was seek a solution to that issue by changing jobs. I did end up leaving Atlanta, but the issue is when we're in a situation that we don't like, a bad relationship, bad job, whatever, sometimes we spend way too much time talking about that situation. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you have to sit down and make a plan. I really hate my job, so the steps I'm going to take to change that on. And obviously, like, everyone has feelings and emotions. Something bad happens to you, and you know, it's natural to dwell on it for a short time, but the faster you can get over crappy situations, the faster you can get to the life you want to be living. Another thing that has kept you from being able to live the life that you wanted in 2018 is you might be too hung up on what happened in 2017, 2013, 1996. Bad things happen to everybody in various degrees. But the thing about the past is that it only lives within our own minds, and it's up to us to relive or not relive the bad things that have happened to us. In my journey, I've found that once I got over things that happened to me in the past, I was able to progress at a very quick rate. It's almost like, imagine you're in an ocean and you have concrete blocks tied to your feet, and that represent the past. The past just pulls you down so fast, but if you're able to untie yourself, you just pop straight to the surface of the water, because the past is a weight that we choose to carry, and if we put it down, then we can move forward. Just imagine how you would look onto the world if all the bad things that happened to you never happened to you. Okay, well, now go and live that way. With the bad relationships that you were in, the bullying that you endured when you were a kid, people that were rude to you and treated you like you were nothing special. All of those are just stories that exist in our own minds. Being too hung up on the past is kind of an offshoot on feeling sorry for yourself. Just that things that have happened in the past create a certain emotional state within you that is negative, that causes you to behave negatively, and that causes you to often relive the same negative situation because you are attracting the same negative situation with your bad vibes. And that brings me to the fourth point. Another reason that this year didn't look the way that you wanted to, you're going into 2019 with the same stuff that you had in 2018, 2017, 2016, and further back, is because you do the same things and you expect different results. And successful people do have a set of patterns and behaviors that they follow that have led them to be more successful than maybe their peers. For me, and I'm not bragging, for me, I find that I would say that I'm more successful than a lot of my peers when it comes to dating. But the reason for that is because I had an old set of behaviors that I could see very clearly weren't working and were never going to work. And I basically taught myself how to date through trial and error and dating books that I've read. Because I am a total nerd. But when I don't know how to do something, I'm going to read about how to do it. And nowadays, with the way that information is so readily accessible to pretty much anyone that even has a phone, there's no reason to not know how to do something that you want to do, because you can simply Google it. I realized, okay, these are the things that I'm doing wrong. Perhaps if I try these things that I haven't tried before, I will get a different result. And as I went through the trial and error of trying new things, I found that, oh yes, I do get a different result, because I'm not doing the things that I used to do, attracting the men that I used to attract, and then finding myself in the same kind of crappy situations. A positive change in our habits will yield a positive change in our lives. A lot of the times, and I'll say it again because I truly believe it, the issue with our lives is that we're not taking our personal power into our own hands to craft the life that we want. And with a lot of law of attraction stuff, it's kind of like woo-woo with attract the life that you want. I think that there is a spiritual element, but I think it's also important to realize that it's not so abstract. The things that we do each day perpetuate the life that we're already living or push us towards the life that we want to live. And last but not least is number 5. You spend too much time planning on doing something instead of just going for it. And this kind of ties back into a fear of failure and taking risks, because for people who have enough clarity to know kind of what they want to do, sometimes we get stuck in the planning phase, and it's just because sometimes you actually do need to plan things out. But a lot of the time with people that I speak to that have certain problems, it's kind of like, you know what you need to do, you're just still in this thinking about it phase because you're afraid to go ahead and take that action. It's like, I want to bake a cake and I have all the ingredients in front of me and I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs thinking like, oh well, maybe I should use like brown sugar instead of white sugar, and maybe I should add in some vanilla extract or whatever. It's like, no, you have all the ingredients in front of you to make the cake. You have the instructions there as well, but you're just, for whatever reason, probably because, again, another thing this is tied into, maybe something happened in your past that makes you afraid of failure, which makes you unable to move forward. At the end of the day, you just need to go for it. You need to go for it in a way that's intelligent. I think it would be irresponsible to tell you to quit the job that you hate if you don't have something of equal or greater value already lined up. You need to go for it in a way that makes sense, but you've planned on it, you keep on thinking about it. Sometimes, especially if you're connected to a higher power and you kind of listen to that inner voice, it will tell you like, now's the time to make the move. And you're just sitting there like, I don't know. Like, you do know, and you just need to go for it. Again, that ties back into not being afraid to fail, because obviously if you weren't afraid to fail, you would have done it by now. So just go for it, see what happens, be smart about it, and trust that the universe or God will assist you in your venture. That brings me to the end of the video. Sorry if you can hear some clunking in the back. They're renovating the building, so there's some very obnoxious thudding going on, but I still wanted to get this video out because I think it's very important. I wanted to post it before the end of the year, just in case someone's able to like swoop it up and grab it before the new year comes. Also, you know, you don't have to wait for a new year to come in order to make a resolution. I have goals that I set and reach or not reach throughout the entire year. I believe our lives look the way that they do often because of the decisions that we make. The more good decisions that we make, the more good ideas that we act on, the better our lives turn out. The more bad decisions we make, the more we're hung up on the past, the more we do the same things that didn't work before over and over, the longer it will take us to get to where we would like to be. If you're struggling with anything today, I hope that I was able to get through to you. I really hope that you're able to come into a place of positivity and change some behaviors that have been keeping you back so you really can live the life of your dreams, because I really do want that for you. I really want it for me. I want us all to be happy and living our best lives out here. Go ahead and hit that like button because I know you love this video. Subscribe if you want more videos like these. Comment and have a happy new year, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.